Today's video dedication is brought to you with thanks from Dan Kirch. Nothing to do on turn 1, so I just went for a tap land, and now we can go Tainted Field, and hopefully our opponent doesn't have a force spike. We'll go for Killian. Drew into Leon in Relic Warder there, by the way. And surprisingly, no turn 2 ramp from the Maelstrom Wanderer player. Alright, that's awesome. A core Spirit Dancer. Was going to go for Light Paws here, but I think we'll go for the Spirit Dancer. They'll certainly want to counter that if they've got counter magic. Don't see too much counter magic in Maelstrom Wanderer because you don't normally want to cascade into it. So we'll go Kaya onto the Killian, draw a card with the core Spirit Dancer. That is Heliod's Pilgrim, which is an Aura Tutor. And then I don't think there's too much of a reason to not swing in here, so we'll go for 2 commander damage. Even if they do get a creature in, Killian does have Menace. There is the first bit of ramping Cultivate. Even once they've got the Cascades off, we do have Vow of Torment that we can put on the Maelstrom Wanderer to keep it from swinging in at us. There is another land which is actually pretty good, so I think maybe just Heliod's Pilgrim would be a good idea. Could maybe search up protection from creatures or something like that here. Going to go for the Spirit Mantle here to give protection from creatures. Can't play it this turn unfortunately, but we can go for the land regardless, and we will turn in sideways for some more commander damage. Again, surprisingly, no ramp on turn 5 for them. Still 6 cards in hand though. They've played all the lands from the Cultivate. And once again managed to drop a land here. So we can go for the Light Paws and then go for the Spirit Mantle as well. Start making Light Paws a bit of a threat as well. Although we don't necessarily want to play into a board wipe, do we? We'll go for it anyway. Okay, they do have counter magic, so that is mana drain. That will give them 2 mana, 4, 5, 6 and 7, so we are seeing the Maelstrom Wanderer next turn. So we'll go for the 1 mana Spirit Mantle onto our commander, draw into a City of Brass. We'll grab the black mana from Flooded Strand and might as well just play the General's Enforcer here. They might be able to get rid of the Kaya's Ghost form, in which case this is still indestructible. So it's still only 3 damage from the Killian. We preferably want to be getting into double strike and a big buff now, but they're on 7 points of commander at least. And there we see ourselves a Maelstrom Wanderer with 2 Cascades. First one is Dockside Extortionist, that gets them a decent amount of mana. And then a Cyclonic Rift. Yeah, that's annoying. That's probably one of the worst things that they could have got into because it does of course knock the auras off. We'll just take the damage from Maelstrom Wanderer. Gets rid of our protection from creatures as well. But anyway, play the City of Brass, play the Killian back out again, and then we'll go for this Vow of Torment and put that onto the Maelstrom Wanderer so it's not a threat to us anymore. And we draw into Winds of Wrath off the core Spirit Dancer. Might as well go for Bonds of Faith onto the Killian as well. I mean, they might be able to get rid of this, and maybe we'll wish that we kept hold of this, but there's plenty of pacifism effects in the deck. Draw into Cabal Coffers this time, and we'll just continue to lay some damage on our opponent. They go straight in for the block onto the Heliod's Pilgrim and take 2 damage from the other human. Casting a big spell here, that is Dragonlord Ataka. Yep, and that is damage. That is going to get rid of the Killian again. Oh no, not getting rid of Killian, instead getting rid of the core Spirit Dancer. Of course, this was indestructible, wasn't it, due to the humans, so they had to go for this instead of the Killian, so doing its job there. And that does have haste, so that is an 8/8 flyer coming in towards us. Okay, yet another land for us. Yeah, maybe we have to start thinking about Winds of Wrath, unfortunately. Well, they are holding back the Maelstrom Wanderer now, of course. It will survive the Winds of Wrath, thankfully, so it still can't be swinging in towards us. I'm going to hold off another turn and hope that they don't get into anything that is going to absolutely decimate us. Well, it's a big spell, whatever it is. Alright, a Rishkar's Expertise. They were always going to draw 9 cards there. And that is a Sarkhan's Unsealing, so going to be dealing additional damage with that. And that's into a Sensei's Top. 11 cards in hand. Okay, Swiftfoot Boots. I think we just have to pull the trigger on the Winds of Wrath here. So destroy everything apart from our respective commanders, and we can keep landing commander damage on our opponent. Let's get rid of that enchantment as well while we've got the chance. The threat of commander damage is a little bit more so now. Didn't do the best with the core Spirit Dancer, unfortunately. Did get a couple of extra cards off that. But the big spells are going to keep barreling in here, I assume, because that is what usually happens with Maelstrom Wanderer. Okay, Jace the Mind Sculptor is an unsummon effect if they want it to be, and they do, so going for the Relic Warder again, and then followed by a 3 visits to search for a forest, shocking that in, then strip mining the Cabal Coffers, not all that worried about that because it wasn't tapping for mana anyway, just takes them down a mana. Alright, Darksteel Mutation might be worth putting on the Maelstrom Wanderer just in case. Play out the Swiftfoot Boots, and yeah, I think we have to go in at Jace here, unfortunately. Don't want them brainstorming if we can help it. Wonder if they can get another creature in with Flash. I wouldn't have thought so with those colours. It's just funny that they were eager to get down the Sarkhan's Unsealing there instead of bouncing the Killian. Anyway, we'll play into it. Go in towards Jace. And managing to get rid of that, then we'll go Leonin Relic Warder again. Might get into another Enchantress effect, so I'll risk taking a hit from the Maelstrom Wanderer. E-Witness from our opponent, so they can get anything back from the graveyard if they want to. They decide to grab back the Rift, which is only really for the Relic Warder here, unless they want to overload it, which they can't afford to do at the moment. Unfortunately, with E-Witness in play, they can double block on our Killian now, though. Okay, Sentinel's Eyes is going to give our creature Vigilance, but that's about all it's doing, unfortunately. This is the problem. In white Enchantress decks, we're not as likely to get into Enchantress because they've all been given to green, unfortunately. Well, that's the case with everything, isn't it? Green gets all the good stuff. God forbid we give white some card draw. Yeah, we're best just leaving it here, aren't we, really? And they spin the Sensei's Divining Top. I can't remember how Cyclonic Rift is worded. Is it every permanent you control, or is it every permanent you own? Because it might get rid of the Vow of Torment here. It's everyone you don't control. So they don't control this, so they're going to be able to swing in with the Maelstrom Wanderer here. Get back their enchantment as well. So hopefully they don't have double strike. Taking us up to 14 points of commander damage. Alright, and there's a D-Spark, a little bit too late. So we can play the Killian again. We'll play Darksteel Mutation to knock the abilities off that. Should maybe save that for some other big creature like Inferno Titan or something. And then they seem eager to keep hold of this enchantment, so I'm going to continue to get rid of it with the Relic Warder. Does mean, unfortunately, that we are not going to be able to equip the Swiftfoot Boots, but we'll just have to hope that that is of no relevance during this next turn. Spinning Sensei's Top once again. And then not liking what they see, so deciding to shuffle with the Vista. And spinning once again. Cryptic Command once again, trying to get back that Sarkhan's Unsealing. And then going in for a big creature, that is Ulvenwald Hydra, so that's pretty good. That gets rid of the Killian. We will put it back in the command zone. We can search for a land here, so they might go for Field of the Dead. And they don't have haste, thanks to the Maelstrom Wanderer losing all of its abilities, so yeah, we would have died here if this had haste, luckily. Not going to, thanks to that not being able to swing in. They went for a Sanctum of Eternity, so they can bounce back their commander now, unfortunately. So it looks as though it's not going to work out for us this game. We do want to get rid of the Ulvenwald Hydra, I dare say. But maybe we have to save the D-Spark for the Maelstrom Wanderer when it comes down next turn. Either way, I don't think we're doing much of anything this game. So I think that means that we can't play our commander this turn, unfortunately. Let's go for the Vow of Torment onto Ulvenwald Hydra. Then we can play the Relic Warder again. And then Prismatic Vista, go for a black mana. We can put... yeah, let's put Swiftfoot Boots onto the Relic Warder. Spinning with top once again. Coiling Oracle first of all for a little bit of card advantage. And then bouncing that Maelstrom Wanderer, so likely going to recast it here. And a Jeweled Lotus. Cracking the Jeweled Lotus into the Maelstrom Wanderer. And they cascade into a Balefire Dragon, which thankfully isn't going to have haste thanks to the D-Spark, assuming that we land that. And Terror of the Peaks as well, excellent. So that enters, that whacks us for 7, and yeah, we'll just take a little bit more damage to the brass, and just go for the D-Spark now. We're really just treading water, but might be that they can get rid of us here anyway. If they play another creature into Terror of the Peaks, that is likely the end of us. Just going for 2 damage onto us. So maybe they can get down a dork here or something like that. Nope, that is a Rhythm of the Wild, once again holding up the mana for the Sensei's top. And that is another land for us. Yep, that's not going to do anything. Let's just play out the Killian regardless. Show our opponent our hand, Sentinel's Eyes. Bonds of Faith can go onto the Balefire Dragon to keep it from attacking. And then we can go out on our own terms at any point with the City of Brass or the Arid Mesa. Our opponent spinning the top. So we get to see what a third cast, I think it is, of Maelstrom Wanderer is. And they get themselves a Hullbreaker Horror. That triggers Terror of the Peaks, we just can't have that, I'm not going to go down to the dragon. So we go down on our own terms to our own land. And yeah, we're not going to know what they were going to cascade into there, unfortunately. But yeah, I don't mind going down to the Maelstrom Wanderer because to this day, even though this is a pretty old commander, to this day it's one of the strongest ones that you can play. So yeah, I think we held our own fairly well there, considering that we couldn't draw any additional cards. If you enjoy these games, then be sure to let me know and consider donating on Patreon as well if you are able to. Massive thank you to the patrons who already support me on this channel. I'm tribalkai. Thank you for watching.